Hello and welcome to the Wolfchase Toyota Insider, the Memphis Tiger Network. I'm Jeff Brightwell. I'm joined by Blake Spark, golf coach at the University in Memphis. And Coach, it's been a while. Last time we got to catch up, we were out at the FedEx St. Jude out at Southwind this summer. So I know it's been a while, and I'm sure once we got to talk late this summer out at the tournament, you were glad once your fall season began, a little bit more sense of normalcy this year.
Yeah. I mean, we put ourselves in a good spot health-wise, made semester much easier with protocols and everything. So, yeah, pretty normal semester. Travel was all pretty smooth, no incidents, nobody had to sit out. So very thankful coming off of 2 years ultimately of a little bit of chaos and unknowns to just have a fairly normal semester.
What was it like before we get into your fall season? What has the last 18 months been like, just kind of having to navigate everything like every other coach?
Yeah, I think just starts and stops and unknowns. When we came off the road, was that spring of whenever that was? I can't keep the year. When we came off the road, just so many unknowns. We were actually playing good. We were more than likely going to be postseason bound, and to have that come to abrupt halt is always disappointing. And then honestly, we were going to play the next spring, set out the fall, which was interesting to have a fall of non-travel. Not something you wanted to get used to, but it was nice in some ways. But I really thought we had positioned ourselves with some grad transfers and getting Isaiah Jackson back to go make a huge run. And then we had a COVID outbreak in the spring and just sort of stopped us dead in our tracks, and a lot of planning that didn't work out. And so, again, very fortunate, feel so happy to just have a normal one, and looking forward to hopefully again another fairly normal spring.
Going through the summer and coming into the fall, you're one of the sports that has a heavy international flavor. So with travel restrictions around the world and having to deal with different countries, what was the difficulty, or did most of the guys stay in the States during all this, as far as not having to worry about going home and then getting back into the country?
Yeah, no, everyone went home, and we had no issues getting back. And I put a lot of that up to just staff and the support staff of academic counselors, making sure, there's all this visa stuff and making sure people have residency and checking in, checking out. And, fortunately I'm surrounded by capable people, and I didn't have to deal with anything. So if something went wrong, I don't know about it, which is the best case scenario always.
Well, they did enough to get back in and play. Talk about in general. We'll talk maybe a little bit more specifically about your most recent tournament, the Steelwood, which you did really well. But how'd you feel about the fall?
I thought the fall was very solid. We are heading to our first tournament. We're driving up to Indiana in the van and started kind of doing some math that our starting lineup had 8 total rounds of Division I experience total. And so by the end of the tournament, we had almost doubled our experience level. Really tough golf course, and I think we got through that one somewhat unscathed. Not going to say we played great. Probably played 27 out of 54 holes well, and then went to the next one and got a little bit better, and then a little bit better still. So I think overall we got a lot more experience. Several different guys saw the lineup. We had a couple guys really excel and play at a very high level. And so I'd say all in all, pretty good. We had one rain out, which was disappointing, that affected, just losing a whole tournament. But other than that, I thought it was very smooth. I thought guys got better consistently. And again, some of these guys, this is the first time they've had to go sit in classes instead of doing stuff online. So just managing even a returner having to manage some different obstacles this semester.
Coach, the last time that you got on the course was last weekend. You were at the Steelwood Invitational, and you did really well. You end the fall semester getting 3rd out of 14th. You got to like the momentum going into the big break before you guys get back on the course in the spring.
Yeah, I mean, that was our second straight tournament with the low final round with very good fields, and we just came out in the final round and played, probably top 20 level golf. Esteban Vasquez and Tyron Snyder's really carrying the load on the front end, and the guys on the back end just playing really solid and letting that all count for something. But yeah, we played great. We've got to get to the point, obviously, where we play 3 rounds, put 3 rounds together. They don't all have to be low rounds of the day, but consistently shooting rounds that are competitive, and then over the course of 3 rounds, that working out to at least be a little more in contention. certainly final round, climbing up the board, having a lot of fun, passing 16s, that's all great. But you're also sitting there going, if we were in a little bit better spot, that could have been really special. So plenty to work on, but to see that firepower, not every team can go do that. And so that's exciting. And I do think we will put it together. And when we do, it's going to be pretty awesome.
You got a relatively young squad. I think a senior and a couple juniors. And you mentioned Tyron and Esteban. That's a couple sophomores right now leading this club.
Yeah, huge. I mean, the earlier guys figured out, the better, because you can count on them for a couple years. They've done a great job. They've kind of had different paths. Esteban was able to come over for a full year last year. Tyron joined us in the spring, but both have sort of gotten to their sophomore year and off and running. I think confidence and just understanding the whole lay of the land. Obviously, talent-wise, they're in great spots, but they've learned to get out of their own way. They both work exceptionally hard. I think they're special talents, and I'm glad they're on my side for sure. And the fact that they've got 2.5 more years is great.
We talk about other sports when we bring players over from Europe. You can just talk about basketball, about how their skill set's different. Maybe they're more skilled player, where the American players are more physical. When you recruit Goff over in Europe, what is their youth program like coming up, and what is the European player like once they get to the States, and what is their skill set? Is it more developed, or how is the development program in Europe?
Yeah, I think like Esteban is on a national team. Tyron was number 1 ranked player in South Africa as a junior. Each country's a little bit different. Europe proper, there's national teams and a structure there. So those kids are generally used to being coached. As far as their game, it just depends on what country they're coming from, and the topography and everything that they're used to dealing with. I think they tend to be a little bit more control oriented versus power. And so coming over here, sometimes you have to pump the brakes on a kid, saying, hey, you don't need to come out and just figure out how to bomb it on the first day. What you do is actually unique as well. So let's make sure we keep what you got, and then we'll add things on. 18 to 22 is not a super patient time of life. So sometimes you can get caught trying to do too many things at once, instead of, I sort of look at it as over 4 years, 18 to 22, you're going to get bigger, faster, stronger. That's guaranteed. We're going to provide you experience and resources. Let's just let that play out and listen, and we'll all be okay in the end. So, it is neat because guys bring over, different opportunities and different ways to get better. And depending on where they're from, it might be new for us or something we're very comfortable with. So, I guess once they show up, within about 2 weeks, I know about everything. And then we start to set a course for improvement.
So in golf, it's a little unique because you're going to have almost 3 months here, right about 3 months till you guys get back to competition in the spring. What do you look at on these 3 months? Of course, it's a chance for them to finish up strong academically, which I know you guys always do. I'm not sure what the travel is like for the guys that are from out of the country, and they'll get to work on their own. It's great. We've talked about how valuable that Flott Golf Center has been in the past. But what do you look for them to maybe accomplish in the time that they have off, at least from collegiate competition?
Yeah, I think we put ourselves in a great spot for the spring. We had a meeting, and I talked about taking intentional time off. I think in this 3 months, there can be some lulls where you don't maybe plan out very good of, Christmas to New Year's, you're probably taking off, but maybe you snuck in a few days before that, and then a few extra days after. Next thing you know, what was meant to be 1 week becomes 3. You haven't hit the gym, you haven't done X, Y, and Z, and now you're not starting over, certainly, but being very intentional about time off. Take the time you need to recover. But the off season is a massive opportunity because my guys play full amateur schedules in summer. Golf is a 12-month-a-year commitment. So the time off's important, but it's also a time where there's less tournaments. And so it's an opportunity to address some things equipment-wise, instructor-wise, if you need to go work on something that we've seen over the course of the semester that's recurring on the golf course. Strength and conditioning is an opportunity to go pick up heavier things and set them back down and do it again, as I know you like to do occasionally. So it's a big opportunity, but you got to be smart and take the breaks, but also push the envelope. And, again, if you want to be a professional at the end of 4 years, it's about getting ready for that. And 18 to 22-year-olds, I know people talk about burnout. I'm sort of blunt with them of, don't really come at me with burnout until you're 40 years old and you've been doing the same thing for 20 years. I understand you can be tired.
Yeah.
Tired's not burned out. So just navigating that mentally and making sure you're in a great spot. Cause once they show up mid-January, it's on and it's going to last for a while.
Coach, as we wrap it up here, I know you'll want them ready to go, and I'm sure they will be excited once they get back for that spring portion of the schedule. So in February, you'll head down to Mobile, Alabama for the Mobile Bay Invitational. Then you're going to head down to Placida, Florida. That'll be a pretty good tournament. So you guys will get to head south once you guys get back here for the spring competition.
Yeah, pretty normal. I mean, we chase weather just like the PGA Tour does. Try to get south early and work your way back up as the season progresses. So, yeah, I think schedule-wise, we're in a great spot. Everything's spaced out really well for sort of play, come back, get a little work done, qualify, play again. So all that spaced out nicely. The competition is going to be really good. We've got some nice opponents lined up. And if we ultimately stay out of our own way and stick to what we do, I think we'll be in a great spot for postseason, which with the pandemic, it's just been a while. So yeah. I'm sort of itching to get back there and not, I love barbecue fest, but I'd much rather be at regionals. So let's go do that.
Last thing before we let you go, kind of stepping away a little bit with the golf, but still on the same subject. Probably some exciting times on the Park Avenue campus. We know the university announced a couple of months ago that Tiger Park initiative to really spruce up the Park Avenue campus. And you've seen it come a long way, not just the Flight Golf Center, some of the other facilities. So in the future, for people that want to help out, will be a really neat thing over there, not just competition-wise, but housing-wise, getting the Student Success Center. So for all the programs, to make that the athletic village, for lack of a better word, here in the future, will be good for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, housing-wise, just bringing everyone in a little bit closer and making things even more convenient. And then, of course, as you sort of build a building in one spot, that creates a tidal wave. And a part of that master plan could be some really cool stuff happening at Frank Flott. So we're always excited about that. Everyone loves renderings and ideas, but I love to see dirt get torn up too. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. The student athlete, the commitment level for these kids, it's huge. We're certainly not the only school trying to do it, but I think everything that we do, we're very intentional and pretty student focused. So I'm excited about the future on South Campus and for all the programs. And the stuff we get done with what we got, I think is massive. I think we use our resources really, really well here. And the more you add, I think we'll utilize those in a really profound way and make sure that we're putting the kids in the best spot possible. And ultimately that rolls out into the city, and then the feeling that we have here in this city and people's support. It's a special place, and projects like this, I think, touch a lot of folks and people can wrap their head around it. So I'm excited to see what all happens.
All right, Coach, as always, we appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Have a good break.
That is Blake Smart. I'm Jeff Brightwell with the Wolfchase Toyota Insider on the Memphis Tigers Network.